July the 16th, trees. By this time of year, most trees have finished flowering and are now starting to produce fruit. The exceptions to the rule are limes, false acacias, Indian horse chestnuts, summer magnolias, Mount Etna broom, sweet chestnut, golden rain tree, smoke trees, Catina species, cordylines, and Indian bean trees. All these trees are common enough in London streets. The most common and most disliked of all our street trees is the common lime, Tilia times europea, synonymous with Tilia vulgaris. These are all over the city, in our gardens and streets, as well as our avenues in our parks. Nearly all the larger specimens were planted before the advent of cars, some even in the 18th century. This month they become heavily infested with aphids. These insects proceed to drop a sticky honeydew onto the cars below, which then gets infected with a sooty mould, causing black marks on the car. Consequently, London's motorists dislike parking beneath them. The tree itself is likely to be a natural hybrid between two common European limes, the small and large league lime, that is Tilia cordata and Tilia platyphilus. It is usually a sterile union, but occasionally viable seed is produced, although the seeds may take as long as a year and a half to germinate. Unfortunately, this lime also produces many ugly side shoots on its trunk, which neither of its parents do to any great extent. These tend to get cut off, giving many trees a rather mutilated appearance. On a more positive note, the flowers of many limes are scented, and used to make the flower tea so loved by the French, and by Proust especially. There are a number of other less common limes, also worth looking out for this month. Arguably the most beautiful are the silver lime, Tilia tomentosa, and the silver pendant lime, Tilia petiolaris. The latter occasionally has bees rolling around beneath it, having become intoxicated on the tree's fermented nectar. Then there are the rather tortured-looking cultivars, tortuosa and laciniata, as well as fastigiate or upright forms. Still rarer, wild limes such as the American lime, Tilia americana, and Tilia henryana, can be found in Hyde Park, and the Mongolian lime, Tilia mongolica, in Canizaro Park. The American lime is greatly favoured by the great spotted woodpecker, who pecks numerous holes in its trunk to suck its sap. The false acacia or locust tree, Robinia pseudoacacia, is another common tree throughout London, which is now covered in white flowers. Its English and Latin names are notoriously confusing. It is called an acacia, which is not, hence false, as its thorns and leaves are similar to the true acacias. Its generic name, Robinia, comes from Jean and Vespasian Robin, who were the French gardeners who planted the first trees of this type in Europe around 1600. Its other name of locust tree comes from the seed pods, which are similar to those of the true locust tree. These were said to have been eaten by John the Baptist when he was in the desert. These seed pods may even be the locusts that were eaten by the Jews in the wilderness. Either way, the flowers are deliciously scented and much visited by bees. Any magnolias seen in full flower now are mainly tulip trees, which usually produce their flowers at a dizzy height, whereas the more common bull magnolias are often seen growing up the front of old houses. Their large plate-like flowers are popular, being so highly scented. Other rarer magnolias worth seeking out in gardens are Wilson's magnolia, Magnolium wilsonii, which has a dense central cluster of deep maroon stamens, and the Chinese evergreen magnolia, Magnolia delavei, which has flowers that only open at night. They may also be one or two spring magnolias, now producing a second flush of flowers. The sweet chestnut, Castanea sativa, needs little introduction. It was first brought here by the Romans, who already had 4 or 5 eating varieties. It has been popular ever since, and neglected coppices still exist around the edges of London. It was grown originally to make hop poles, but where it is still harvested, it is mainly now for posts used in wire fencing. Older trees are often seen around the country houses, where 500-year-old veterans can reach over 30 meters in height with beautifully spiral trunks. They are now producing their vast numbers of spermatic-smelling catkins. Young Roman women ate sweet chestnuts when they were fasting. It is thought they may have been eaten to induce vomiting. A fine old sweet chestnut with a door in its bowl, which has survived several arson attacks, can be seen in Carshalton Park. Probably the most notable trees this month are the Indian bean tree, Catalpa species, which were unknown here before 1726. Because they produce such trumpets of flowers and need a little heat to thrive, they make for a popular planting in central London. There is a fine old specimen coming to the end of its life in St James's Churchyard on Piccadilly. Fortunately, there are many more younger specimens dotted around Westminster, particularly in Parliament Square. Their white flowers are big and brassy with yellow and purple spotting. 3 species may be encountered. The common is the Indian bean tree Catalpa bignonioides, Western Catalpa, Catalpa speciosa, which has less purple spotting and can be seen in Radnor Gardens, Twickenham, and the Chinese Catalpa, Catalpa ovata, which can be seen in Chelsea Physic Garden. The golden rain tree, or pride of India, Coruteria paniculata, is now covered in golden yellow flowers, hence its name of golden rain. It arrived by caravan from China in the mid-18th century. It has pink midribs on its leaves and bladder-like fruits, which will come later. The Chinese used to make necklaces out of its seeds. A rare hostigiate form can be found in the city of Westminster Cemetery at Hanwell. Other rarer trees in flower are best looked for in collections. Of particular interest are the epaulette tree, Pterostyrax hispida, the Chinese yellowwood, Cladistris sinensis, the yellowwood, Cladistris lutea, and the Chinese fringe tree, Chionanthus virginicus, all of which have clusters of white or creamy white flowers. Although tender, they all deserve a wider planting, as does Styrax abazia, Styrax duponica, Stuartus sinensis, Stuartia pseudocamellia, camellia, Styrax monodelpha, and Cornus controversa. Most of these can be found in either Canizzaro, Richmond, or Zion Park.